Alright, quick video for the 618 sales. I made a list of some of the IEMs that I think are worth buying in the description. You guys can check that out. But let's get into it. I'm gonna go through some of these by side with you guys, and we'll see which ones are good. Alright, so starting with the best value IEMs that I think that are on sale right now. So the ones that, the best price to performance. We have the Super Mix 4 at around $135, which is very good already. When it was at 150, it was already very good. So at 135, pretty much a no-brainer in my opinion. And then we also have the Nova, which is 120 right now. Personally, I like the Super Mix 4 better, and I would just avoid the Nova. But some people might go for it because it does look better, and maybe it does fit better for some people. But yeah, those two are very good. And then we also have the Pula PA02, which is only 130 right now, which is really good because it was like 150, which is already really good, right? But yeah, these are very unique sets, same as the CKLVX, which is I think is like 140. I would still get the CKLVX because it just looks better. I think this looks a bit too much bling bling, but regardless, pretty good deal. And then we have the Chino at $80 from 100, and the Chino is very good if you want like a neutral set. It's pretty much a straight line. And the cable is pretty good as well, so that's pretty good deal. And then we have the Tripod Piccolo, which I think was alright, but for $35 I think it was a little overpriced. But right now it's only $10. At that price, can't really say much. It's $10, right? It's pretty good. And then like moving up to something more expensive, we have the Simga EM10, which I didn't think would be on sale, but for around the same price as the Pilgrim, I would take the EM10 personally because the Pilgrim is like cleaner overall. Like it does feel more, I guess, not as closed in as the EM10, but the EM10 kind of like wraps around your head more, and the mid bass kicks a little bit harder for me, which I prefer that better, and it's a little bit smoother than the Pilgrim because the Pilgrim does get a little bit sharp in like the past the 10k around 15k region. So yeah, the EM10's on sale right now, pretty good deal. And then so is the top and the variations, which I think the EM10 just pretty much replaces the top for me personally. If you want something brighter, the top is still it's still good, right? But overall, I think the EM10 strikes a good balance between like detail and just like not being too bright. And variations is variations, got a mid-bass scoop. Some people like it because it's very open feeling, it feels very airy, so you still go for it. It's $450 right now, still decent deal. But personally, I would pick the EM10 out of all of those myself, just personal preference, right? And then moving on to some of like the other deals, which are still good but not as good as like the the Pulas and the SM4s. We have the single shreds, which is $240, a great all-rounder if you want something does everything balanced, good bass, good extension in the vocals, good extension in the treble, does nothing wrong. The scoop, some people might not like the scoop, but I think the scoop is small enough to not really make a difference, like compared to variation, which is like big scoop in the mid bass, right? But this is just like a slight tiny scoop. So, and then we have the Chinkos, which are pretty much the Da Vinci's. I'll get into the review later, but the Chinkos and the Da Vinci's are very close, and it's on sale right now. So if you want bass, just pure like warmness and bass, pretty good. $240, right? It's I think it's like $60 cheaper than Da Vinci. And then we also have the Hype 2, which is like clean, a little bit bright, tiny bit bright leaning, but it's very clean neutral, kind of like the Pilgrim, but not as detailed as the Pilgrim. And the bass is better than the SM4, so it kind of sits in between the SM4 in terms of like SM4 doesn't have enough bass, where the Hype 2 has better, I guess, like better bass. It's not very bassy still, but it's like the bass is done better than the SM4, but it's not as good as the Pilgrim. So it kind of sits in the middle. And then we have these Studio 4s, which I didn't think was going to go on sale, but these are still very good. $368 at this price. I think it's pretty competitive. Do I think it's better than Pilgrim? Maybe. I'll have to re-listen to them, like compare them side by side, but this is definitely a pretty decent deal for the Studio 4s. And then we also have the Performer 8, which is also a great IEM if you want something neutral. It's the direct upgrade to the Chinos in terms of just like the overall tuning. Chino is very flat, very like straight line, and this is also very flat straight line, but just like more detailed, more technical, and better extension in the treble. And then we also have the Manger Zenz Manger T2, which is a very vocal focused set. It's like neutral-ish, but the bass is very well done, and then you can like crank these up. Scale is very good. The imaging is very like holographic, you can say. Immersive set, scale is very good, and it looks very nice as well. Right now it's only $280. And then we also have the Heidi's MP145 at $140. So it's like $10 off. It's like not a huge deal, but the 145 was already good at like 150, 160. So this just makes it a little bit better, which is, you know, you want something more like all-rounded, then this is good as well. We also have the P1 Max 2, which is kind of similar to the MP1 145. They're both like all-rounders. Any of them would work. They use pretty much the same drivers. Just pick the one that you like better. The Pandas are cheaper right now, so I mean, just go for the Pandas. They kind of like look nicer to me as well, but yeah, both of them work. And then we have the Magic 1 if you want something warm and, you know, something smooth, very good for like male vocals. And then moving on to some of the other IEMs that are, you know, just decent deals, not as good as the other ones that we talked about before. We have the EM6L, which is a very good gaming IEM, you know, gaming set. It's a little bit brighter than, a little warmer and brighter than the SM4. It's not as technical and clear as the SM4, but it has its like own place in terms of gaming wise. This is slightly better than the SM4. The EM6L is pretty good. And then of course you have the Hexa, which is also 68 bucks. Great all-rounder, clean, neutral, a little bit boring, right? The bass isn't like, so you know, the bass isn't much to talk about, but overall pretty good set and pretty good value for the price, especially like detail and technical performance for like under 100 bucks. And then we have the T10s, which, you know, everybody loves the T10s. Cheap planar, one of the cheapest planars, and they perform just as well as the more expensive planars. And yeah, I mean, 60 bucks. You can probably find these for even cheap, drops to $52. And then we also have the Sonus, also this lowest I've seen these were like $35, and at that price it's a no-brainer. Right now it's only 43, but it's still very good. Like, you know, beginner set, clean, neutral, I guess like well balanced. And then we also have the Etcher DZ4, which is very good for vocals. Right now it's only $68. Pretty good. You want something that scales really good for vocals, very clean and natural, not very warm, not very bright, but you can just like crank the volume up and really just like enjoy the vocals. And the DZ4 is solid set, under 100 bucks for vocals. And we also have the HBB NV, which is similar to the DC4, so they're like similarly priced. Either of them works. The NV has a little bit more extension and treble, but like they're basically very similar. Just pick the one that you like. And then we also have again the EW200, which again my best value pick for last year. Very good, 35 bucks, 36 bucks. And then we also have the Count, which is a little bit bright on some of the nozzles, but like the overall package is probably one of the best you can get at $26. The cable, very good for $26. The case, very good. And then the overall build quality is like metal, so you know, very good build quality and just very good package. And then moving on to some of like the other sets that are, you know, cheaper, not like doesn't go on the sale, isn't as much, right? You got like cheaper stuff like the Nuo, the EW100, the new Wyvern, which is pretty good. It's another, it's kind of like another Harman all-rounder, but it looks very nice. And then the Warner's only 18 bucks right now. Again, very good, very cheap. Now the KZs are also on sale. I don't really like KZ as a company, but the value is there. You know, if you can't afford anything else, Caster, great. Get the base edition. Don't get the regular Caster, get the base edition enhanced. So that's the black base edition. Very good set for under 20 bucks. And then you also have the Krilla, which is, you know, also very good under 20 bucks. And then, you know, the Tangent one, still a great set. The fit is probably like the best under 20 bucks. I like the bullet style, just like very good for rock and stuff like that, because it's a little bit warm, but the extension on the treble is also like slightly airy. So, and then you also have the Zeros and the Red, which, you know, they're all right. If you want something, you want like a budget set that's everything very okay, then the Red is, you know, it's good. And you want like a subwoofer kind of feeling, then the original Zero is good as well. They do their job, nothing amazing, but you know, nothing horrible either. And then the new Truth Rare Gate, it's another Harman, right? Oh, I don't want to say Harman, but it sounds similar to all the other ones. It's 16 bucks, you know, just get it as a collection or something. I don't know. It looks pretty cool as well, so you know, go for it. And then we also have the Delcy, which is warm. It's like a warm IEM. It's kind of like the R1 from Arty, but it's like, I think it's slightly cheaper, but either of those work. They're very close. You also have the Clanar, which is similar to the T10s, the S12s. Basically, just find whichever one you like the best, you know, aesthetically, and then like which one is cheaper. They all like sound very close, perform very similar. And then we also have the Legato, which is $92 right now. I think it's good if you want something like bass heady, but not super like bass like bass heady, right? And then you also have stuff like the Melodies, which is a good V-shaped IEM. Right now it's like $9 off, right? It's not a huge deal, but it's better than nothing, right? And then you also have the bundle, which is the Shozy P20. I really like this Shozy P20 because it's like warm, but It's also like airy and sparkly. It's kind of like the meteors. It's like a cheaper version of the meteors. And the bundles, usually all the okay, so all the other bundles or the bundles that I'm not showing are not very good. I would probably avoid them. But the Shozi bundle is decent, right? If you're coming from scratch, you get a good DAC amp for, and the Shozi for like 159, which is 20 bucks more than the P20. So basically you get the Allegro for 20 bucks, which is good, right? If you need a DAC amp, it's a good deal. But if you want, like, it doesn't go on sale by its own, so you might as well just get the bundle, right? And then we have the Heyday, which is also, you know, it's still good IEM, but it's just that value-wise doesn't really compete with the S12s, the T10s, and this is 160, 170, where the other ones are like 180 bucks, right? 50 bucks on the T10s. So you're paying kind of a premium on these, which, you know, they look very nice, but it's a premium, right? I will say though, the tuning is slightly different from the other ones. This was cleaner and a little bit more bright. So, you know, depending on what kind of preference you like, these might actually be better than the other ones. But just know that they are, you know, they're obviously more pricey than the other ones. And then we have the Quintet bundle, which, you know, by its own, I think it's like 190, and then you get basically you get free ear tips. Like on sale is 180 and you get free ear tips. So if you're looking to get the Quintet, just get the bundle and, you know, you get a free ear tips. Like, why not, right? Now for the EA 1000s, I think they are, I don't want to say outdated, because the LM is slightly different than the formats, but the SM4 it kind of just like kills it because it's like smoother than it. The technical performance is like a little bit better than it. I will say the format still has that like sparkly sauce if you want it. I personally wouldn't go for it right now. The SM4 is just like a better product, like in general, right? And it also has the bundle, which I think is a bit overpriced. If you want the cable, just buy the cable on its own. Unless you really want the format and the cable, then obviously get the bundle. But yeah, all these bundles are not the best, I would say. Now for some more expensive sets that are like more, you know, end game worthy, you know, category stuff like that, we have the OH700VB if you want something clean but still like different, not completely like neutral like the Mega 5 ESTs. I think that's just straight up boring. This is better. It's still neutral, but you get like that bass kick in the sub bass, and then you get some dynamic contrast in the treble, which makes the OH700VB more unique than like all the just like straight line, you know, neutral sets. We also have the OG Oracles on sale for $512. You know, it's a very good set if you want vocals, but it's not like, the sale isn't crazy, right? It's 20 bucks, right? It's nothing amazing. But if you want a clean, kind of like a little bit airy vocal presentation, laid back, then the Oracles are very good. There's a new one, I think the Oracle Mark IIIs. I might get a chance to hear them, we'll see, but the OG Oracles are still classic for vocals in my opinion, and it's still worth getting, right? Next we have the SA6 Mark IIs. I don't really like these that much. I think they're a little bit, I don't know, the vocals are too pushed back. You can't really hear the vocals. The detail is great on these because you can't really hear the vocals. Like the layering is great, you can hear everything, everything's well separated, and the stage feels very big because everything is like pushed in front of you. It's like kind of a 2D kind of stage, right? But yeah, the vocals aren't there, and I'm a vocals guy, so I would personally pass on these. But it is on sale. If you want something like very like good amount of treble, good amount of bass, you don't care about the vocals, then these would do the job. Like they work pretty good for rock, but if you want vocals, these are not it. And then we have the Diva. Now I don't know if these are on sale because they have QC issues or, you know, channel imbalances, but I will watch out for the Divas because they do. Obviously mine has channel QC balance, and a lot of other people's have issues with like QCs and stuff like that. Aside from that, it's a great earphone, right? I like it. It's very good for vocals, endgame vocals pretty much, but it's just the QC just makes it iffy sometimes. So just watch out for that. You know, if you can graph it, so if you do have a channel imbalance, you can actually return it. Next, we have the Condensa 12, which is one of my favorite like endgame, you know, IEMs period. The treble is very well done, the vocals are very well done, the bass is great. It's just overall very good, but it is $2,000, right? It's like $300, $200 off right now, which is not a lot. I think that's like 10%, but it is on sale technically, right? If you were eyeing this, probably just get it right now, or you can go if you can find it on the used market for like 1,000, you know, 1,200. Get it used. But if you want it new, this is, you know, pretty good. And then we have the Canera Loki, which is a very natural, clean, and balanced set. The treble is very well done, very detailed, but also like it's not like overly sharp or peaky. Like some of the companies just like boost the treble, right? But the treble isn't boosted, but you can still hear it, and it's still like very detailed. So it's very natural, and right now it's on sale, $400 off, you know. It's $2,600, But if you're eyeing this, you want something natural, something clean, like endgame, endgame level, then the Loki would be a good pick. Now moving on to some IEMs that I have not heard yet, but I've been eyeing and people have told me like good things about them. Number one, the Tangzu Noja. I always wanted to hear this because it looks really cool and the graph looks alright. But I never pulled the trigger because it's a bit pricey. It's like $400 when you got the Pilgrim and other stuff like that. But it does look very good and it does have 1 EST, so that's pretty cool. I might actually buy this, maybe. But we'll see if I can get like a review unit or something like that. And then we have the CCA Hydro, which people are telling me it's very good. It's $100 right now. I think the original price is like $130, so that's pretty good. But it's KZ, so I've been avoiding it because it's KZ. But yeah, I heard good things about the Hydro as well. And then obviously the Canon 2, people have told me good things about it, but I never just got the chance to kind of like hear them because a lot of other stuff came out. So this kind of was just like in the back. Then we also have the Xuanwu Gate, which looks very good. 1DD, 4BA2 ESTs. The graph looks good as well. But again, a lot of stuff came out and this was on the pricier side, so I couldn't just like buy everything, right? I'm gonna ask Linso if I can get a review unit for the Noja and the Xuanwu because they look pretty good and the reviews have been pretty decent. So if you're eyeing those, it's on sale right now. Maybe give it a shot. And then lastly, we have the Anoli VX, which obviously it's a legendary set. Some claim it to have the best detail or resolution that they have heard. And it's on sale right now. So if you're eyeing that, if you got the money, then go for that. But aside from that, that's pretty much everything. I would there's a lot of good deals right now. And I'd definitely go take a look. But aside from that, I'm gonna go back on vacation and hopefully when I get back, I'll do my DaVinci review, Explorer review and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see everyone in the next one. Shout out to Jeff, Rarix Cat, Dom, Star Buccaneers, Disco Scaldus, B_URAC, Mystic Spoon Attack, Oh Really, Walker Standard, User, Ernest, Contain Guava Juice Gains, Patrick, Bell Kel, Roller the Calf, Pally, Mr. Gorillas, Antoristo, Giz Sang Young, Tamat Pa Frashe, Ed Dunlap, Christopher, Name, Henry, Son of a Horse, 777ZK, Uncle That Hurts, Asher, VVC Garrett, Perry Jat, and Airy. Thank you guys so much for the support.